Hi, this is Tony. Welcome to my first video in this channel. I'm going to be going through my cameras, my Leica collection, starting with the very latest camera that I've managed to acquire from Leica. Paid for it, it arrived last Thursday or Wednesday, and it is the Leica M10-P Reporter. Here is the beauty. Beautiful camera. I'm just going to be going through this camera and the difference between this one and my M10. Also a chance to have a look at it as well. So if you like this video, please click below, click the like, and also subscribe. I will be doing videos on a regular basis going through my Leica collection. Next video will be the M9P. So that's going back to 2009. Quite a while ago, and that was the very camera that got me into Leica. What I do like about the brand is the simplicity. I've had cameras before all my life pretty much. Certainly when they became digital, they became complicated. You've got a menu, you then got 2 pages of menu and 3 pages of menu, and then you get a Sony. Which is great, but I'm not one for remembering how something was set. If I put a camera on a shelf and a month later pick it off the shelf, I just want to shoot it. I just want to use it. I don't want to have to go through layers of menu to figure out how it was used last, or if I could actually improve on that image by pressing this option. With a Leica, you know where you are. You've got your aperture, you've got your ISO, and you've got your shutter speed. Focus, and the rest is down to you. If there's a bad image, it's generally not the camera's fault, it's generally your fault. Similarly, if there's a good image, you can also take the credit for it as well. So it's nice and simple. That's what I like about Leica. So yeah, do subscribe. So this camera, the Reporter, was introduced on the 2nd of January 2021, so 2121. It's based obviously on the M10P, which was released in 2017, 4 years ago. What Leica do is every so often they release a special edition. Hence this one, which is limited to 450 units worldwide. And this is one of them. So we're going to compare this to the M10, not the M10P, but the M10. I have my arsenal behind me, which I'll be going through on a weekly basis. If I grab the M10 here, now you can see how similar they are. Now the M10 has the red dot, the M10P doesn't. The P versions tend to be more sort of street orientated. They want to be discreet, so no red dot. What you will find is there is no engraving on the top of this camera. So you're completely devoid of any lettering. There's a tiny bit of engraving on the back of the camera where it says made in Germany. So small I can barely see it, but that's all it says on this camera. There's nothing else there that indicates that it's a Leica or even the brand, the model. Any other differences? The M10 doesn't have a touch screen. It's just a screen. You cannot adjust the screen on the back there. Whereas the M10P and the M10P Reporter does have a touch screen, so you can flip your images, it says, and you can do various things. You can pinch and shoot through your images, such like that, and that's it. Also, the difference, and one of the main reasons I bought this camera, is it does have a horizontal gauge. Many times I've been shooting with cameras like this, taking architecture for example, and you had the camera slightly at an angle or slightly up at an angle and you get distortion. So it's good to know that you've got a good horizontal grounding when you take your image. Now this has got it. The P versions do have it. The M10P versions, don't know if you can see that, but there is a gauge on the back there. Now I don't always use the live view, but if I'm doing architecture, that's an option. Also, you could use the VisoFlex here. which slots on the hot shoe at the top. This is let's get that on. And there we go. So you can look into that. That gives you a digital EVF. And again, that's got the horizontal gauge on it, which is useful. So that's another option with this camera that this one didn't have. Also, what the camera is obviously rugged green, they call it. It's also covered with a material called Kelvar, which is a very tough material, supposedly bulletproof. Well, it is bulletproof. It's a very tough material. I tested it in water. It doesn't seem to absorb any water, so it doesn't get soggy, but it's nice to grip. It's a nice material to grip as opposed to the sort of pseudo leather. I don't think it is actually leather, but it's a leather type. This feels a little bit better to grip, being the fact that it's a material. But the Kelvar is used in sports equipment and protective gear because it's such a tough material. But yes, it's a matte material as well. So what Leica says, you can't get any fingerprints on it, which is true because it's matte. It doesn't tend to stain. It's also supposed to be more resistant to scratches. So whether they put a little bit more paint on it to stop the scratches, I don't know. Maybe time will tell. What I have found though is, certainly with this unit, is the switch is a little bit harder to flick. They seem to be a little bit more resistance as I turn, particularly the ISO. So with this particular unit, if you're familiar with the M, you lift up that and you can turn the ISO to whatever option you choose and you push it back down. But actually to lift this up is a little bit more resistant than other the other M10s. Yep, I did discover that, whereas this one, you just pop it up, pop it down. So it might be something to do with the extra coats of paints, I don't know. It's getting a bit looser perhaps now, a little bit better. That's the sort of only difference I found in the hardware really of this brand, of this model. Let's have a little look. So as I said, there's no red dot on it. It's very sort of street, it's very discreet. You've got your touch screen as well. And I always do like a 3-in-1. So 3 things that I like about this camera and 1 thing that perhaps could be improved on it. Now, what I do like about the camera, as I said at the beginning, is simplicity. You just pick it up, three or four parameters and you're done. That's one thing. Secondly, the size as well. You haven't got an SLR around with you in order to get your nice shot. So size is another thing. And also what I like about it is the zone focusing. So you can set your zone focusing up and anything that comes within that focus range you've got. You haven't got to fiddle around with focusing for your viewfinder. You haven't got to put face detector on and then miss the actual person that you wanted to take a picture of because it's focused on somebody else. So you can set your ranges up and you know where you are. It takes a little bit of time to learn that. It certainly did myself, but I love it now. Again, I can have it set to a certain zone, pick it up and know that that image is going to be in focus. One thing that perhaps could be improved, personally I find them a little bit heavy. They're a tough unit. I wonder if they can make them a little bit lighter. Certainly if you put a longer lens on this, the 90 perhaps, and you do feel it in your hand. You do feel it in your wrist. So maybe they can make it a tiny bit lighter. That would be my only thing that needs adjusting really, because it's such a good unit. So every week I'm going to go through the models. I'm going to do my 3-in-1. 3-in-1. 3 things I like, 1 thing that perhaps could be improved upon. So please consider liking this channel, liking this video, subscribing to this channel, and I will do more in future, I promise. And just have a great day and enjoy your shooting. Bye for now.